Chapter 523. Since people were waiting for her, Elaine did not even bother to finish her meal. She quickly grabbed her bag before she took a cab to an older villa complex in Orris Hill, the West Garden Villa. An old friend of hers lived in the vicinity of this villa complex. The West Garden Villa had been relatively prosperous and luxurious in Orris Hill 20 years ago. However, since it was already an old villa complex, it was not as luxurious and elegant as it used to be. In the past, Elaine felt that the West Garden Villa was already very good and luxurious. Moreover, she felt that she would never be able to move into a villa like this in her lifetime. Nevertheless, things were different now. When she thought of how she was going to move into the best villa at Beacon Top very soon, Elaine felt a little dismissive of the West Garden Villa. Her old friend who lived at this villa complex was called Carton Luke, and Elaine had met her many years ago. Carton came from a pretty good family background. Her husband made a lot of money in his early years, and after he passed away in an accident, he left Carton with a lot of money, after raising and sending her child abroad for further education. She would simply play mahjong for fun to pass time every day. Carton was very rich, but she had very lousy hands and poor mahjong skills. Therefore, she would always lose points to Elaine whenever they played mahjong together. Elaine would always have more points and a better hand than her. Therefore, Elaine regarded Carton as her god of wealth and would definitely be there whenever Carton invited her over to play mahjong. As soon as she rang Carton's doorbell, the door was opened almost immediately. At this time, a woman who was about the same age as Elaine quickly greeted her with a warm smile on her face. "Sister Elaine, you're here. Come on in." This middle-aged woman was none other than Carton. Elaine hurriedly greeted her before stepping through the door and saying with a smile, "Oh, Carton. I am sorry to keep you waiting for a long time." After that, both of them headed to the living room. At this time, the other two friends who had gathered to play mahjong with the both of them were already sitting and waiting for Elaine at the mahjong table. "Sister Elaine, you are finally here," another middle-aged woman said impatiently when she saw Elaine walking into the living room. "Come and sit down. We will start by playing 8 continuous laps today." As soon as Elaine and Carton sat down at the mahjong table, the mahjong game officially began. As Elaine rubbed the mahjong tiles in her hand, she turned around and said, "Carton, you have already lived in this villa for quite a long time, right?" After touching a tile, Carton smiled before she replied, "Yes, this villa was bought for more than 10 years ago, mainly for investment purposes. After my child went abroad, I was living alone in the city, but the villa was too big for me. I could not help but feel very anxious living alone in such a huge villa. Then, have you thought about renovating and refurbishing your villa?" Elaine asked with an interested expression on her face. "Let me tell you, my daughter happens to own a renovation and refurbishment company, and she is also partnering with the Diamond Group. If you are interested in renovating or refurbishing your villa, I can ask my daughter to give you a special price. When that time comes, she will surely turn your villa into a magnificent palace." "Sister Elaine, thank you for your kindness," Carton replied as she smiled slightly. After that, she sighed before she said, "However, I am already planning to sell this villa." "Sell it?" Elaine was very puzzled. "Why do you want to sell your villa? You are not short of money. I know that your husband left you 7 or 8 different houses, and you have also invested in several real estates yourself. Isn't it good for you to keep this villa for investment purposes?"